If there's anybody in the audience that would like to write down a question and you don't have a slip yet, or you thought of another question, let us know. Just wave your yellow slip in the air and either Gary or Gary will come by and pick it up. Okay, and our last candidate for the evening is Jim Bussler, who is running for Congress in the 6th District.
Thank you, Sherry. Hello, everybody. Good to see y'all. It's nice to be able to have this kind of discourse, isn't it, in public? And nobody trying to arrest us. Fantastic. You know, I want to start out, I like to look at things that are obvious because we just do it every day and try to find out what it really means. So, does anybody here know what the word America means? It actually has a meaning to it. Well, we know the name of it, right? Amerigo Vespucci, that's right. Ironically, America means home rule. Now, I think that's pretty interesting because I'm telling you, it's home rule that made America great. It's home rule and the ability to have the decision-making done on the local level whenever it was possible that made America great. Anybody here know the difference between an establishment Republican and an establishment Democrat?
Tell us.
There is none.
There is none.
Well, first of all, after much meditation on this question, I realized the Republican Party is the honest party. They tell you they're going to take your money and give it to their friends, and they do. And you have to, that's honesty. The Democratic Party, or the Democratic establishment, they tell you they're the party of the people, then they take your money and they give it to their friends. That's why I'm running, because we've got to stop sending people to Washington and to Lansing that misunderstand their purpose in office, that their purpose is to protect the rights of individuals in this nation. It's not to micromanage local communities. It's not to have edicts come from the FDA saying you can't make cheese and age it on wood. Our government has run amok. We are on the receiving end of 1,000 bad decisions. At every time where we could have made America a more free society, our legislatures on the federal level and the state level and the local level have repeatedly voted to remove our basic freedoms here as citizens. If we want to go to Canada, what do we have to do? We have to be certified in who we are as a person. If we're a felon, if we're are leaving bad debts in another country, we have to have paperwork to leave our country or to enter it. And we are American citizens, and we have thousands of people waiting at our border, not waiting actually, coming across the border, getting vouchers to go where they need to go in America. We need to be angry about this. To be an illegal immigrant in America, you have more rights than American citizens.
That's right.
I don't want more rights than the illegal immigrant. I want the same rights. I want it to be the same for everybody. If you're going to immigrate to America, which all of us in this room, I do believe we probably all had immigrants sometime in our past, they should follow the law that we have. I don't believe in stopping immigration. I believe you need to get in line and take a number like all the people I know in the healthcare industry that have come over here to work as doctors and nurses and had to wait. It's a slap in the face of justice to do these things. You know, another little thing I want to say is I hear our congressional representative and I hear our representatives in Lansing talking about the recovery. Well, I want to tell you, a recovery does not have 100 million people receiving some form of welfare and 70 million people completely dependent on it. That is not a recovery. A recovery is not an increase in jobs because we received more federal goodies because we gave up more of your rights to receive federal funds.
Yeah,
That is not a recovery.
that's right.
A recovery is when American citizens, legal immigrants, have the opportunity to be left alone and to use their creative powers to create jobs and businesses and ideas without interference from an overbearing government.
Yeah.
Why is it that every solution we get from Washington tends to pick a winner or loser in that industry? I'm running because I'm a nurse and I know how to tell when a patient's failing. That's one thing you get. You know, doctors, they learn when they're brand new, they come in, they don't really trust the nurses, but after they've been there for a while, they realize the nurse will tell them 24 hours ahead of time, you know, this one's not looking that great. You might want to change things up. And a good doctor, what do? They'll change the treatment plan. If something's not working, they change it. But we've had 70 years of the same crap from this government, ever increasing control.
Yeah.
As your need for money to fund your programs increases, you have a corresponding need to control the populace. You gotta know where everything's going. You gotta know that, you know, your son got a $500 gift from you. You gotta take time out of your day before tax time and write that down. This is ridiculous. I hear crying too, and this is chastising all of us. We get upset when we hear about all the people that get the handouts. But when you hear that we're spending $100 million on this, or we lost $800 billion in welfare or something like this, yes, I agree, it's wrong-minded for able-bodied people to get welfare. 2008 alone, we gave $18 trillion of welfare to the banking industry. That's why we suffer today, because people are having to give up their pensions. The militaries had their pensions decreased. And it's all because of this payment that we made and the $65 billion payment we're making every month to the financial industry. That is where our quality of life is disappearing to, and nobody will talk about it. That would be great.
And the IRS.
I'm running because America, even in the 80s, things were way better than now. And I never thought that I would look back on the 80s like my dad looked back on the 50s. When he would tell me he bought a house, had a car, you know, he made like $3.50 an hour, which was pretty good money when he was working. But I ever think and idealize the 1980s. But it's sad to say that America, we are not receiving the full blessings from God right now because we are not acting justly. We're at the end of 53 million aborted babies. And it has become so happenstance and regular to us that, yeah, we're angry about it, but we're no longer enraged by it. And when we say that we can hurt the least of these, our brethren, when we say that we can do that, that means everything else is okay.
That's right.
that means there is nothing wrong anymore. We gotta get that back. We have to get our faith back. We have to understand what it means where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is liberty. God wants every creature to experience His liberty that miraculously He gives to us and the ability to make our own decisions. We need a government that gets back to those principles, that gets back to our founding principles that are all around us, having just scales, if that means anything to anybody. America's financial system is corrupt to the core, and one of the main reasons is we've thrown off what we used to do when we were prosperous, where we had a monetary system where the money was equally rained on the rich and the poor could get out of poverty because they didn't have to fight inflation every day to save a dollar. We need people I'm leaving. We need people in Lansing, we need people in Washington who understand that, and that we need to know that it is 1,000 bad decisions, but one thing, bringing liberty back to America, is what will bring prosperity back. Thank you.